Hello, welcome. We're at First Time Filmmaking from Script to Screen, and my name is Shari, and I'll be presenting today. Also, just to let you know, so my film is Let the Damn World Talk. That's the name of the film. It will be showing tomorrow at 12:30 in person, or on a screen from in Tucker Hall. So they have a bunch of narrative shorts that they put together. Mine's is a narrative short, and they'll just play them out at 12:30 tomorrow if you want to see it. So I'm the writer, producer, and director of this movie that we're going to talk about today, how I put it all together from script to screen. I thought that was going to advance me forward, but it did not. Let me try this. There we go. Okay, so we're here to be inspired. We're here to get things done. I wrote up there to do the damn thing. So our objectives, hopefully we'll feel inspired by the end of this presentation. Our objectives are to learn what I did and what I didn't do, what I wish I did and why, to discuss, hopefully as a group, discuss and dissect my filmmaking process, and identify 3 skills. I hope all of us will identify 3 skills we have right now currently that each make us excellent filmmakers as we are sitting in this room. And along with those strengths and those skills, hopefully we can identify some weaknesses. I encourage you to do that as well, because that just reminds us that filmmaking is a team effort. It involves teamwork. And so whatever it is you are not strong at doing, hopefully you can find a partner to help you supplement so that you can get your projects done. A little bit more, I want for this presentation to kind of be an exchange of experience and expertise. I know that some of you guys are in film school, or some of you have made projects of your own. So I do want to kind of reach out and ask, what did you do? How did you do it? And hope we can have a little back and forth on techniques and things. I really hope for the language in this presentation to be very simple and straightforward. So if you do hear a term and you're confused about what it means, please, I hope that you ask to get it clarified, and that you might also correct me, because I didn't go to school for film. I might be using some outdated terminology, or I might be describing something incorrectly. So hopefully the language will make sense to everyone. And then my last hope for this presentation is that this is my application to you all for a free hire, because I really do love this art form and I really want to help people get things done. And so please consider me, reach out to me. I will give you my contact information. If really you use me in any capacity on your film projects, I'd be happy to help for free. So let's start with my most valuable strength, I think, that I have is I am an excellent storyteller. So this is definitely theoretical. I am really good at analyzing story. So I know that the components of a story that make a story very good. So this is one of my strengths, I would say. I say that these strengths come from me having an undergraduate degree in English literature and a master's degree in social work. So you might not believe it, and I don't know how much you know about social work, but social workers work primarily with people in need, work with the community, being a broker between families, sometimes between systems and people. And when you listen to people and we start sharing and hearing the stories of people, you get their stories, you get the human drama that people are actually living. And so stories directly come from clients that I've worked with. So with my English literature background and my social work experience, I'm kind of primed to hear somebody say something, hear an experience, and figure out how to turn that into a story. So I would say I'm really good at understanding psychology, I understand social dynamics, and I write really well. And I think that's a very strong skill for my filmmaking abilities. Click here, good. So for this particular film, I knew, so let's start with this film, Let the Damn World Talk, that's what we ended up calling it. I went to New Jersey to visit my best friend in college, and we had a conversation on a dock. And the conversation was about her not choosing to vaccinate her child. I don't have any children. That was her first child. And this was back in 2018, I think, that I visited her. And I knew that I was going to make this film when I was walking in Williamsburg, walking my dog, because I used to live here for about 6 or 7 years. I was walking my dog and I came across this dock. And when I found this dock, I knew that I was going to make this into a film. This conversation that I had with my friend about her child and not vaccinated. So do any of you guys know where Jamestown Pie Company is? Down Jamestown Road, okay. So do you know where Restore is on Jamestown Road, the Habitat for Humanity thrift store? Okay, anyways, Jamestown Road is kind of on, it's the parallel of the university, just go straight down. All the way down, there's a pie company that's really good pie and really good pizza. So you might want to consider finding out where that is, Jamestown Pie. Across the street behind the 7-Eleven, that's where this dock is. So I used to live in that area and I was walking the dog, found this dock, and I knew that I was going to make this movie when I found this. So, sorry, I keep doing I have to click. There we go. So from script to screen, this film took 5 years. I'll go through, these are the figures and the stats for the film. So it was 11-page script with 10 characters. I casted 9 individuals, 8 speaking roles. There were 6 scenes in 3 locations. I had 2 crew members, 3 support staff. And when I say support, those people weren't in the crew. They were just kind of essential resources on the side. I credited 1 editor at the end of the film, although I kind of had conversations and negotiations with 3 different editors, but 1 got the credit. The film came out to be 10 minutes and 52 minutes in length. And I want to believe I spent $848 to do this. So I did start this data drop here with a $0 budget, but it's not because I told myself, oh, I'm not spending any money, I'm gonna do this completely for free. That's not what I told myself. I would say that one of my weaknesses is finances and budgeting. So I said, I know I have to spend some money, but I don't know what I'm gonna spend money on. I had no idea. I didn't think about it. I was just like, I'm just not gonna try to spend not too much. So in my humble opinion, so I started with like, I don't know, we'll see what we spend. And then I ended up spending $848 roughly, maybe $50 more or less. And I think that's reasonable for the product I got. That's me personally. But again, this is where I would love your impact and feedback as you guys are learning about film and film production and the way to do it correctly. You know, how to make a good budget and what that actually looks like. You know, is this a reasonable price that I spent? I don't know. But maybe you guys will be able to inform me of that once I itemize it all out for you. Yes. So the script, that's where we begin with making a film from script to screen, obviously. The script kind of, all of me working on the script took about 3 years. So if a 5-year, it took me to do the whole production, 3 years was the script. And it began in 2017 at the Williamsburg Library for me. This movie that started as The Squealing Pig, it turned into Mommy Dearest, the title of the movie, that then became Let the Damn World Talk. This was my second script that I had written. My first script I wrote using these books, The Screenwriter's Bible, The Foundations of the Screenwriting 101. I just used those books, I read them, and I started writing a TV pilot. That was the first script that I wrote. And then I used that script to join the Virginia Screenwriting Forum in Richmond. So that forum in Richmond is a group of screenwriting enthusiasts. They come together every month and they critique each other's work in person. And so I joined that group with my first script. And that's when I learned about other resources to help with script writing, to include Script Notes. It's a podcast, and I'll pull this up for you guys. So this gentleman, John August, his friend Craig Mason, the 2 of them together, they host a podcast and they talk about writing scripts. They talk about working in the industry. They talk about, they bring on people to interview, you know, all the famous people that we can think of in our favorite TV shows, they bring them on and interview them. The most latest 20 episodes of their podcast are free, but if you want to go back into their archive, it's going to cost a premium subscription to get there. So I learned about this resource and I started following them and listening to them on the podcast. And they are, you know, for me, it's all about craft versus being in the industry. They talk a lot about the industry because they live in Hollywood and they do the Hollywood stuff. But for me, it's about writing the script. So those are the episodes I always am concentrating on. And it was a good resource. So that's one. And then the other resource I found through the Virginia Screenwriting Forum was coverfly.com. Have any of you ever heard of any of these books or podcasts or coverfly.com? No? Okay. So Coverfly is a great resource. I think if you are writing scripts and making movies and you want to submit them into competitions, you could do that through Coverfly. It's like a hub for all of that. But also what they do that's kind of amazing and excellent. One thing that script writers want and script people need are readers. We need people to read and edit and give us critiques on our scripts. And nobody wants to do that because scripts are like work, you know, they're books to read. They're like, you know, it's not a book, but you know, you have to read it and then you have to critique it. So that's what Coverfly provides. They provide peer-to-peer review of your scripts. So it's free. all you have to do is read other people's scripts, get points, and then use those points to get your scripts read. Okay, so I thought that was an invaluable resource to find, because now it's an exchange. You're doing the work, they're doing the work, and you're getting reviews on your scripts. So I used that. Going back to the script at hand for the movie that I made, I subjected my script to 1 screenwriting contest rejection, and then I got 2 peer reviews off of Coverfly. And that's as much as the feedback as the script got before I said, okay, I'm gonna make it into a movie. All right. Any questions so far? Am I speaking too fast? Are we following along? Yeah, okay, awesome. So here's just an example of Let the Damn World Talk is the name of the film in the end, but at this point it will still be called Mommy Dearest. And this was a breakdown of the score that I received on Coverfly from a peer. So the very last peer that reviewed this script gave me this score, the scoring kind of system. So as you can see, another weakness that I have is plot, making sure that my scripts or that my stories actually have a plot. So while I'm theoretically really good at analyzing story, when it comes to the functionality of like Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3, I don't know, my brain cannot process it well at all, and how to make those pieces kind of come together nicely. So you see I got the lowest score in plot, 2 out of 5 here, because the film really, it has no real plot. And that's fine, because there are plotless films out there. There's films that are, this is a dialogue heavy film. There are films that are kind of like, you know, they want you to think more about the things that were discussed versus look at all the action that happened along the way. You know what I mean? So I'm okay with it, but it is a weakness that I have, trying to kind of figure out where plot comes into my stories. So I shared 2 strengths and 2 weaknesses so far. I think, not 2, 1. I'm a really good storyteller, or analytically, I can analyze story very well, knowing people's psychology and human behavior. Weaknesses, financing and budget. Another weakness is putting plot into my stories. And so we're back to strengths. And I would say that a strength that I have, a second strength that is valuable to making films, is I rock at finding resources. What am I trying to say here? Hold on, read these notes. Oh, yes. So me being really good at resource finding and securing resources, I think is 65% of the due to my job as a social worker. So again, I told you social workers are brokers between systems, families, and clients, people. So I have to do a lot of the talking for clients sometimes. I have to get on the phone and say, and speak to people and ask them questions and get results. That's part of what I do. So I think it helps me be a really good researcher and finding and resource and talking to people. I'm just not shy putting myself out there and asking a question. I do have a funny story about how I'm a really good researcher. I'll just read these 3 bulletins to match them up. So I'm extroverted, you know, I feel comfortable in groups and talking amongst them and socializing. I'm not afraid to ask anyone for anything. So there's that, and I'm really good at research. You know, I was a really good student in school. You know, I was just kind of nerdy. That's just what I like. And so it just helps, I think, with filmmaking. Hello, welcome. Hi. So I have a fun story about that, about me being a really good researcher. So in 2019 December, I decided, I didn't have any unique ideas for writing scripts. I had just discovered script writing in 2017. I started writing some things. 2019 came, I didn't have any idea of my own, and I just really wanted to keep writing and practicing. So I thought about my favorite book as a kid, and it's called Harrison Me by Gary Paulson. I just really like this book. It's a very great story of coming of age and adventure on a farm. And I thought it would be real fun if I could turn this story into a script, if I can adapt this into a script, because that's the thing people do, obviously, right? We adapt movies into scripts. Now, this is also stuff I'm learning too, because I literally didn't even know like how movies were made. I watched movies all my life. I never thought like, how is a movie made? And then I just discovered it in 2017, and then I just went down this rabbit hole. But so I really want to turn this book into a script, and I thought I should option it from the author. Now, can anyone in here tell me what does it mean to option a piece of work? Does anyone know? No, okay. Oh, did you want to answer? Yes, please.
Hey, I want to make this, and how much does it cost to
your
piece of work? And
exactly. So copyright exists on people's work, correct? So you have to ask the person who owns the work, can I have this? Give me ownership of your story for a certain amount of time for a certain price, and I will create a product from it. And when that time frame runs out, they are able to take their story back, the copyrights of that story, and then you no longer have access to it. So I decided I was going to option the rights to Harris and Me from the author, Gary Paulson. Now, Gary Paulson, when I wrote, I hope he's alive today, but he was about 80 years old when I decided I was going to write him a letter and ask him to option his book. He's also a very established young adult fiction writer, very established. He's written over 600 books. Okay, so this is a big feat for me to just out of nowhere, who am I? I am nobody. I'm going to write this man a letter. First of all, find out where to send a letter to, write this man a letter and tell him I want to option his story because I love this story so much. How did I have so much faith in myself to do this? Well, I thought that I could really write an impassioned letter, that he would really believe that I loved his story so much and that he would feel his heartstrings would be pulled and he'd let me do it. The other reason, the man is 80. He would pass soon. Unfortunately, that's what happens when you get to that age. You have to start thinking about the next phase in life. And typically 80-year-old wealthy people want to give their money to causes. This is fundraising 101. Every nonprofit knows this. So I'm not exploiting elder people. I'm telling you that if you ask for their money, they're likely to give it to you. You just have to ask because they have it. So those are the two things that were fueling me. And then the third thing that was fueling me was that I had just lost my job in early of that, the same month, just a week later. That was my final day at work. And I had nothing to lose. I just said, I'm looking for a new opportunity. I said, let me shoot my shot. So I went online looking for this man's address and I found it. I found it through his wife's website, who's a painter. And there was an address from, what is it, Tolosa, New Mexico? Tularosa, New Mexico. I saw the address on her website. I said, this is home address. I'll send a letter to it. And I sent a letter. I wrote this impassioned letter. I sent it into the mail. And I got a response back. But I'm going to continue with what we're talking about at hand. And I'll let you all think about whether or not I was granted the option to turn his book into a screenplay. I do have the letter with me, and I will show it to you or talk about it afterwards if you're interested in knowing whether that worked out for me. But this was a story about being a good researcher. So I went online and I found this man's address, a random stranger, 80-year-old writer's address, and I sent him a letter in the mail. And it arrived because I got a letter back. So I'm pretty proud of that. That's a really good strength that I have. So we're in pre-production now. Pre-production took 1 year. So we had the script that took 3 years. We're in pre-production now. We're in like 2020. And I would say it took the whole, or yes, a piece of 2019 into a piece of to a year of 2020 to complete pre-production. So these are just a couple of emails I had to send out to kind of start finding people to make the film. I had the script, but I needed to find some people. So this is an email I sent out first to a cinematographer. DP means director of photography. They are the cinematographer, the person standing behind the camera. And I asked him, do you want to help me make a short film? This gentleman, but he bailed on me. And so we had a couple of conversations, we met in person, but he eventually bailed on me. So that didn't work out. And I found him through the Virginia Film Alliance website. So Virginia has a film alliance where actually the state is pretty well established in its film industry, not comparable to Hollywood and New York, but incomparable to other states of its same realm. We're kind of like, we're doing things in Virginia. We are doing things. So they have an alliance. This is another email I sent out to hire a storyboard artist. And this guy I met at an exhibit, there we go, an art exhibit. And he's just a regular artist. He just draws pencil on paper. And I sent him YouTube videos of how to do a storyboard. And I said, hey, this is how you do a storyboard. Look at these YouTube videos. Do you want to do a storyboard for me? Because I didn't have a storyboard artist, but I met a man that's an artist, and he agreed to do it. And this was the first time a price tag was put on me. So he said he would do it for $250. And I said, sure, I'll take it. Okay, so he agreed and he was on board to do my storyboard work. This is an email I sent to the DP who actually ended up shooting my film. He was a guy, actually, I don't know why I didn't reach out to him first. Maybe I didn't trust his skill and that was my bad. But we worked together in restaurants. And me and him had always talked, in between serving people about film and movies and making movies. And so I knew that he had a camera, he had the equipment, he loved to do it. So I reached out to him finally, and he did agree to do it. So he agreed to do it for free. So these were pics of the locations that I was sending him. That's an email to him. And this is an email finally from me to the cast after our first table read. And I was sending them thumbs up that we had a great table read, and I'm so happy they're on board. And we ended up having 2 table reads before the actual filming of the film. So these are some kind of my pre-production emails to kind of get things flowing and get people together. So these are the resources I use for pre-production. Actors, I ended up getting most of my actors off of backstage.com. So I tried Facebook groups, and I did get, I think, 2 people from Facebook groups. Remember, I casted like 9 people. So I got 2 people from Facebook groups, but the rest of them came from backstage.com. I was on Nextdoor Neighbor. Nextdoor is a website, it's kind of social media for your neighborhood. And so I went on there first too, and I put on some plugs, but that didn't really turn out to give me anything. But Backstage really worked well. So I kind of want to show you guys the Backstage website, and I'll sign in. So Backstage is just a hub, a database for all talent, for talent around the world. So you can definitely narrow down the field, tell them, you know, you're looking for people who are in Williamsburg, Maryland, the DMV area, and that's what I did. And so the furthest actor came from Maryland. Hold on, let me just sign that. No secret here to this password, doesn't matter. But I do want to show you guys my, let's see if they all show up here. Yes, these are the people I said yes to. So these on the left here, you see all the roles. And then, you know, you have to put up slides. Can anyone tell me what wait, it's not a slide, it's a side. Can anyone tell me what a side is?
Lines from the movie.
Lines from the script, exactly. So I put up sides to tell these actors, these are the parts that you're reading for, you know, apply to this job. And so these are the people, these are 6 of the people that I casted in the movie from Backstage. And then the other 2 came off of Facebook. That was just me going into Facebook groups for filmmaking and saying, hey, I got a movie, if somebody want to come act in it, where do you live? This was about, you know, whatever. So yeah, so Backstage, and I just researched and found Backstage. And I just made it a free account. They allow you a free account with a certain amount of time periods and stipulations, and then you can have a free account and make a movie or get talent. The film crew, I told you I emailed that one guy from the Alliance. This is the Alliance website, film.virginia.org, but that didn't turn into anything. My film crew came from the guy I used to work in the restaurant with, and then he brought another guy, his own friend. So it was just 2 of them on the crew. He brought his own friend. Food came from Food Line. Music, Epidemic Sound. The DP had a, a paid account with Epidemic Sound. And so he allowed me to use his account for free to get the music. So you do need to pay for this, and it provides you with free music for movie making or for whatever, some kind of commercials or any kind of media making. You get free music. It's not free, you have to pay for the account, but then you can have, you know, you don't have to pay for like license of pop songs and things like that, because nobody can afford that. I mean, not nobody, but we can. And then miscellaneous. I remember I was looking for a pregnant belly for one of my actors, that I remember I needed a percolator for coffee in the morning because I had to serve about, you know, maybe 15, 20 people. And so I needed a percolator to make enough coffee. So I went to Goodwill, Restore, and DAV Thrift, which are all here in Williamsburg. And I found a percolator. I never found the pregnant belly. She put a pillow under her at the end. So that's kind of how I sourced all the things I needed in pre-production. Any questions? We're all on board here? Yeah, okay. It's all making sense. We all understand pre-production, these words. Okay, good. These are all things I had to learn, you know, and sometimes they confuse me. The fact that we call it, there's a DP and cinematographer, those are 2 the same, you know, things like that. So I just want to make sure everybody is on the same page. So this was production. Production happened in 1 day. It took 14 hours. Here on the screen, I have my call sheet. Does anyone know what a call sheet is? Want to describe that? Do you want to tell everybody what a call sheet is?
Yeah, it's sort of like sort of having like the actors and stuff like that. Like it tells you what you're going to do during the day and stuff like that.
Yeah. So it gives the actors specific information about what time they need to show up, where the nearest hospital is, the weather, when the sun rises, when the sun sets, who the people you're supposed to report to, who the director is, you know, so all that stuff is on the call sheet. And then all this mini stuff down there is like breaking down the scenes of how we're going to film them. So sometimes actors don't need to all show up at the same time. So you don't have a bunch of people on your shoot. You can have them come in at a different time so that, you know, they come in when they're needed, right? And they could just prepare until then, you know? So that's a sample of the call sheet to the right. And this is what we ate. And I'm very proud of what we ate because we did not eat pizza. You know, and that might be a little bit of I like to host parties. And so I knew I was going to host people for this kind of production and I wanted to feed them really well. And I did not keep receipts to track how much this cost me, going to Food Line, buying all the food, preparing all the food, all that stuff. But this is what we ate. And so I'm very proud of that. And I'm going to put that out there because I also did get compliments on the food I had that day. One thing I learned, I didn't even tell you guys, one resource that I had back in 2018, 2019 was going to the Atlanta Film Festival. And I would recommend it. I thought it was a really great film festival. I saw a lot of great movies. And I went there and I went to a lot of these workshops where they talk about making movies and how you do it, low budget, blah, blah, blah. And one thing they said is like, people won't feed the cast and people get upset after a while because you're talking about a 15-hour day and you don't have anything to eat, or they gave you bread and lettuce. So one person said they showed up to work and it was bread and lettuce all day. And that was it, you know, and I understand they're trying to cut costs and save money, but now you've got a bunch of hungry, angry people hanging around and you expect them to act for you. So it made all the sense in the world. It's like when you host a party, what's the most important thing at a party? Yes, you want some good, lively people. You have somebody to talk to, but I bet you want some good food to eat, right? You know, or alcohol, you know, and you can't serve alcohol on a crew, you know, because you got work to do. So food, it made all the sense. So I was like, I'm gonna make my food good. And it was good. And it came up a lot in the conversation, honestly. You would be surprised how much food gets talked about at a film festival. So, all right. So my third most valuable strength is, hold on. Is that where we're at? Yes, this is where we're at. Okay, good. All right. My third most valuable strength, I am adaptable. So I am calm under pressure and chaos. I think quickly and creatively, and I'm solutions focused. And I think this is definitely essential in filmmaking because things will happen that you can't predict. A lot of the things that happened that I couldn't predict happened after production. So in post-production, a lot of things started falling apart. The only thing I could say that happened in production was that the rain fell. So on that call sheet, it did say 40% chance of rain that day, and it did happen. But honestly, production was so smooth. Even with that rain, we just did a little quick turnaround on things and we got it done. And it was all in one day, 14 hours, everybody was home by at least 11 p.m., except for the person who had to drive back to Maryland. So yes, all the things started falling apart in post-production. I also missed saying that the actors cost me a little bit of money. So as far as money, the storyboard artists, $250, the food, and now the actors. So I didn't pay the actors directly. They were not unionized or not a part of a guild, but I did want to do something for them, especially because some were coming from Maryland. And I paid them 14 cents reimbursement on gas mileage. And why did I choose 14 cents? I went online to the IRS. I didn't know what to give them. And I went online to IRS, like, who could tell me what to give people in gas mileage reimbursement? IRS website has that. For charitable purposes, you could give 14, that's a normal amount to like take off your taxes or whatever, 14 cents a mile for charitable purposes. So I said, hey, that's a nice number. And I think the most I spent for someone was just the girl coming from Maryland was $45. That was her round trip. 45 is what I paid her. So I did pay for gas for the actors. Okay, so last and final strength, I'm adaptable. So I think I'm an excellent analyzer of story. I think I'm really good at research and finding things. And I think I'm really adaptable under stressful situations. And I think those all make me a really good filmmaker. So this is pro-production when I needed to be the most adaptable. And I have some emails up here. So one thing I didn't anticipate, one of the actors, he made some questionable decisions during production and even after production. There was an issue with the contract. So we had a couple of back and forth emails about that, and it never really resolved itself. But I was just like, okay, I didn't expect this to be an issue. But this one gentleman who was an actor was just he was curious. The next issue that I ran into was editing. So the gentleman who decided to film my script said that he would edit my script. edit my movie, film my movie, edit my movie. And he gave me a price. He set his own price. He said $300 and I agreed to that. But then halfway through editing, he ditched me. And we didn't really have a good communication about it. I don't know why. I think there was a couple of personal things going on in his life that might have affected him, but he didn't talk to me about it. He just kind of was MIA after a while. So I only had to pay, I paid him $150 up front to start, but I never had to pay the other $150 because he never finished. So he kind of left the situation. So then if you look at the very last email, I sent an email out to my friend back behind us, Randall, and I said, hey, do you have time to do this for me? I've got $100 and I'll pay you to do this for me, you know, because I want to get this film edited and it's only half edited. So there was a little bit of an issue because it was first edited in Final Cut. Are you guys aware of editing software at this point? So it was edited in Final Cut, it had to move to Adobe Premiere because that's what he was using. And there was, or the opposite way, I can't remember. So that's a little bit of an issue because I don't know, files, they can't do that easily. So that was a little bit of an issue, but we got that done. And then I tried to incorporate another editor with more advanced skills because I wanted to color correct the film and auto correct the film, which you do in post-production because we're outside in the woods. That creates that white noise in the film, and you got to get rid of that stuff. And also the color was just, it looks like it was filmed in the 80s, you know, because it didn't have any color correction, you know. So, but I didn't get that. I tried to communicate with this gentleman about doing that extra work for me, but then I became exhausted. It was a lot of work and effort on my part, and I wanted this thing to be done. So post-production took about 1 year. That's when I had to have my most adaptability to just be like, listen, it is what it is. I did it. I can move on with my life. It's my first film. It doesn't have to be perfect. And that's it.
Good job.
That's a little trailer.
Ready? Okay. There you go.
Yeah, so that's a little, he sent me that as like an opening scene trailer so I can use it in social media and stuff. So that's what that was. And we finally settled on the name of Let the Damn World Talk. That's what I wanted to name it. Mommy Dearest is an old movie. I don't know if you guys know this movie. What's this actress name? I don't know. But she's just like a horrible prima donna actress mom, and she's abusive to her children. And it's supposed to be like a biopic of some actress's life. But that's a movie back in the day called Mommy Dearest, and that's what was in my head as I was writing this a little bit. But then as I kept doing things around it, you know, getting to production and making the movie, I decided the title wasn't serving it well. So let's do Let the Damn World Talk. So, and that actually came from my friend here, if I can just, I don't think I can highlight on a PowerPoint slide, but down there where it says Let the Damn World Talk in quotations, my best friend who I had the conversation with that sparked this movie, she plays the guitar, she sings a little bit. And so she was performing this song and she sent me a recording and I was like, oh, I like this. I was like, what's the name of it? She's like, it's called Let the Damn World Talk. I said, oh, okay, this is excellent. And so I just put it in the movie and just called the movie that. And I feel like it makes sense. So, so even my best friend got a little credit in this movie. So that's it. That was 5 years from script to screen. Do we have any questions? Yes, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to sort of talk about, I mean, that's incredible that you had gotten it done under sort of like this, just like strenuous sort of conditions. I guess I wanted to ask you, well, actually, I wanted to see the letter because I know that you said that, of course, and then I want to see sort of his reaction and whether you had actually had gotten sort of retained the rights for sort of auction, or sort of gotten sort of the rights to the film.
Oh, well, yeah, so no, I did not get those rights to write that, to adapt that book into a screenplay. So I could definitely show you the letter. I gotta find my bag. Oh, it's over there. And I can show you the letter, but basically people of his caliber, they have agents. And so I got a letter back from his agent and the agent, she kind of just chewed me out. And she told me that, you know, how do you not know about us? How do you not know how to be professional? You should have sent your letter to me. You cannot go directly to him. And so, and then she just said, like in bold, you do not have the rights to adapt this into anything. You do not. But I consider that a win because I found an address off the internet and it actually got to the right person. So I'm going to take my win for what it is. I did think it was going to be a long shot because, you know, you just don't, there's gatekeeping and you just don't have access like that so easily, you know? So I would have been very thrilled if he was just like, yeah, sure. Yeah, so that's the answer to that. Yeah. So can you all share with me, how much time we got? Oh, we got time. Can you all share with me where you all are in your process of filmmaking and or studying, if you're not even studying film, or why you're here today or anything? Do you mind?
Sure. I guess I have a, I think I want to be a screenwriter eventually. So I'm at the beginning phase of that. I'm just like learning more about it. I found in some books and I'm just trying some things out pretty much.
Yeah, excellent. That's exactly what I did. And yeah, with books and all the resources and podcasts and stuff, I think you could definitely, put a script together and it'd be perfect. So what are you studying at William & Mary?
Film and media studies.
Film and media studies, okay. And do you have some script writing classes?
I think they have like one or two, but like I haven't been able to take them yet.
Okay,
But yeah.
okay. So do you have any best practices you want to share from your expertise and your experience?
I think really just my problem is like just to keep writing, because like when I get to like a spot, I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm always tempted to like, okay, let me just do something else now. And that's like my biggest issue. I think just to write through, the dead spots. I just keep going.
Yeah, no, that's 100% true. I think that's also what made me want to make a film, because when you get into the realm of script writers, or like into the circle of people who write scripts, I think they get locked into this place of only writing scripts. And what they're hoping is that someone will buy their script. And so they keep submitting to these competitions out there. And there's a level of like, there's a tier of like respectable, competitions. But they're hard to get into. They're hard to be accepted, So they keep writing scripts in hopes of that happening. But then for me, I was just like, I just don't see that happening so quickly or fast enough for me for what I want. And so I just think I just got to make my stuff into films.
Yeah.
I think that's just the best thing to do. And so that's what made me just kind of do it with this short, since this was only 11 pages, I said, I could do this. It was only a conversation. And I found the doc. I was like, oh, this is going to happen. I can do this. Yeah. So continue writing. And that is always a problem that writers have, is that they definitely just like, I don't know what to do anymore. I'm just going to start something new.
Yeah.
And we forget it. Yeah. But Coverfly, please, if any resource, Coverfly, because you can have people peer review your reading. They want to, because they want the points. And then you can get feedback on what you're writing, and that will encourage you to write more, because they'll tell you what you're doing well, and they'll tell you what you're doing, what you could do better in, and then it will encourage you. It encourages me all the time when someone can just be like, no, this is what's wrong, this is what's right.
Awesome.
It really is encouraging.
I've been trying, I want to become, of all else, I want to become like a film media composer, like make music for movies. And I've been able to work with some students here on their like film projects. Last semester, I worked on a couple like short documentaries for a class, which was really fun. And this semester, I've been able to work on a geology student's senior thesis PSA project, and former student's documentary about the Brace School, which has been pretty fun. And I also like to become like a screenwriter too. I would just finish the script that I was part of a project last semester, but I finished it and submitted it to, I guess, the school's English literary competition in drama and screenwriting, which hopefully that goes well.
Okay, so tell me again, you said you wanted to work with the music in film. Did you say that, or did I hear that correctly? Okay, so are you playing the instruments yourself and mixing?
Yeah, it's all me. I can't afford an orchestra, so
yeah,
I have
of course,
to do it all myself.
Yeah, so it is live instruments that you play, and then you have
sometimes it's like on Logic. I've worked with, like, for one documentary, it was like supposed to be kind of a true crime documentary, and what she wanted like very like minimal like acoustic music.
Yeah.
So I played just creepy acoustic guitar instrumentals over it, and she really loved it. And
excellent.
It was really cool. And I got to work for her again. She's also doing the Brace School, and she wanted kind of that kind of same energy.
Yeah.
And I was able to do that. And the other documentary, what they wanted was like something a bit more kind of electronic, and I was able to give that to them, and they really enjoyed it too.
That's excellent. That's excellent. You are a big resource for a movie maker, a filmmaker.
Yeah.
I mean, putting music to film, and especially because now we don't have to worry about the whole licensing thing, and then you don't have to pay for that epidemic sound, so you can get people's unlicensed music or whatever. you could just have someone like this gentleman who could just make it for you. Yeah, good, excellent. How long is the script that you've written?
How long is the script?
Yeah, is it like a feature or short or
A
just like?
feature,
It's a feature, so you did like 120 pages? plus?
112.
112, good for you. And it's finished and complete.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's always complete. Like I'm still like making like edits, you know. I've like sent it to a couple of friends who like really want to read it, and so they've been making notes as well, and I've been making the necessary changes.
Perfect.
So I like the one that I submitted to the English competition was like the 4th draft of it.
Oh, yeah,
And
exactly.
so like, but I still want to make edits.
Good, as you should, yes,
Yeah.
for sure. Also know when, it's done.
I know,
'cause
I
think-
always know when it's done.
Yeah, exactly. I think as a personal writer, you get so hooked on the story and you just want to make it the best it could possibly be, but then you'll spend forever just drafting and drafting and drafting constantly. Now, excellent. So Coverfly, also a really good resource for you because you can get that
Yeah,
peer
that was like,
review
I was like,
free.
oh, that could be very useful.
Yeah. The only thing you have to read someone's script first, so you can get some
That's
points.
fine.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Can you tell me about what brings you here today?
Yeah, I'm Preeta. I'm doing like a film major, not declared, but we'll get there eventually.
Sure.
But I kind of want to be along like the cinematography side or like editing is where I'm like really interested. Although I really appreciate screenwriting because I personally am not good at it. So it's always like something I'm like looking forward to doing, but I don't necessarily want to do long term.
Yeah. No, I think I've learned through doing this that script writers are very valuable resources as well, because I didn't know how many people are making movies with no scripts. I learned that through YouTube, and they do encourage you to do that, but I do not encourage you to do that. I just feel it's more chaos, and maybe I'm a little OCD, but why have more chaos when you don't need more chaos? Just write something down. So yeah, script writers are definitely valuable. And it's a difficult thing. It's been a hard thing to move from prose writing fiction to writing in scripts because it's different. And you really do have to understand Act 1, Act 2, Act 3 in a real way to be efficient with your script. But I think editing is honestly the most fun part, honestly. Like I love putting the music and then clipping things together, because then you start seeing it come to fruition and you see the formation of it. And it's just kind of like fun to be like, wow, this came from like random, because you do random takes and then you watch the takes and it's like, all right, this isolated conversation happening, and then you have people talking in the background, you have random things that intersect with the clip. But then you start putting the clip into a movie and then it's just like, wow, I can see it. I can visualize this coming together and how it's done. So I liked editing a lot. I especially liked adding the music. The music was the fun part because it really does, it just brings the whole thing to life, So I could see that being more fun than script writing, maybe a little bit, just depends on your interests, yeah. Awesome, excellent, I hope you declare your major soon. Please tell me, what are you doing here today?
I'm a sociology major.
Excellent.
I just really like movies. I'm interested in screenwriting and also like set design and also music. I'm a little bit of a control freak, so I would kind of want to do everything. But
Like me.
right. But so that's why I'm kind of interested in your process and your journey. Since you're not, like a film student, and how that would be like adapting, because it would be mostly a side thing because I'm going into library science, but I would like to do it as a side project.
Yeah, I mean, I literally, 2017, I've been watching movies my entire life. I never thought, how is a movie made? Never thought. And I've been trying to write this great American novel my entire life. I'm like, okay, all I need is 600 pages, like a novel's like, that's a short novel, I can do that. And then I discovered, I don't even know how I discovered, I just found a script and I was like, oh, scripts are a thing? Like people write these for movies and it's 120 pages max? Like, no, this is where I need to be. Shorter, sweeter, and then you can also make a movie along with it. So yeah, you can totally do it on the side. I mean, I'm a social worker, that we are similar, definitely. And you'll get great stories in studying sociology, because that's the study of human behavior and history. And so that's what all stories at the crux are about, is how we behave with each other as humans. Yeah. Awesome. Do you have any expertise to share? Have you written any scripts?
Not really. I just mostly have some ideas I'm tinkering with.
Yeah. Okay, good. Please tell me why you're here today and what you're doing.
can I ask you a question first?
Yes, of course.
Two questions. I guess I wanted to ask you how you sort of like just get out of sort of like a mental block and like actually just, do the thing, because I feel like it can sort of be like intimidating to like, or just get started and then how do you sort of like, I don't know, like not become sort of demoralized, I guess, at the end, I guess, because it seemed like, the odds, like things, I mean, I know that you said that you were adaptable and that it takes sort of being adaptable sort of in that environment, actually sort of like get it sort of done. You just wanted to finish. But how do you just like, I don't know, just like not become sort of demoralized at the end and actually just, get to the sort of finish line?
Yeah, I hear what you're asking. I think there's small things that motivate us. So did you all hear that question? Kind of like, how do you get through the process? How do you get to end? How do you not feel demoralized at the end? There's small motivational pieces that I felt. The one I shared with you in the beginning was finding the doc. When I had that conversation with my best friend, it was authentic. It was just us being in the age that we are. She has her first kid. We had a conversation about her not wanting to vaccinate. And it kind of sparked some things like, some thoughts in my head. So I just kind of ruminated over those things. I just lived my life thinking about, okay, Corinne is making these choices. I didn't think I was going to make it into a script. I didn't think I was going to do anything with that. But then I came across the doc. I just saw it. And then I was like, okay, I've got a location, like it just seems so perfect, and I'm not saying things will happen so perfectly that way for you. So another way that you could be motivated, another way is like, if you start sharing your work and really getting good, authentic feedback about it, when somebody says, oh, wow, you're doing a really good job. This is fun. This is engaging. I want to see more of this. That's motivation, and for me, at least, that provides it does require you to have to put yourself out there a little bit, and requests from people that they kind of encourage you, that they read this, that they look at this, that they give you the feedback on it. But the other thing is friends, people that are in your corner that will say, I really like what you're doing and I want to help you, or that you feel comfortable asking for help from, because, I had my husband who allowed me we were moving from Williamsburg to Richmond, and I needed a place to shoot the indoor scenes. And so I used my apartment, but I had to stay in the apartment one extra day, which means we had to pay for an extra U-Haul. So I was like, no, we're going to stay in this apartment one extra day because I need a place. Where am I going to get a location to film the indoor scenes? But, I had to like negotiate that with my mother to say like, listen, I know it's going to cost $150, which also should be in my budget itemized list, which I forgot. But, but please let me do this because I really want to see this happen, so it's not like it was like, that much begging. It was like, okay, we're going to do this, relax. But I'm just saying, like, you need people to support you to say, yes, okay, this is a good idea. And so I would encourage you to find those people. If you don't have those people also, if you really feel like no one wants to read what I have, no one wants to look at what I have, no one cares, or you just don't feel comfortable putting yourself out there to the people that are in your circle, strangers are out there. I made my entire film mostly with strangers because people are wanting to be creative too. I just put myself out there to you guys to say, hire me, really for free. I will help you if you have a project because I want to see people make things. I think this is fun. I think this is a way that different stories get out there in the world. And I think that that's how people get better at what they do. So look for strangers, join the Facebook group, get on backstage and say, listen, I'm looking for people who want to do X, Y, and Z with me. Who are they? They will come out of the woodworks and they'll be here for you because people are doing the same stuff. I think too often we work in silos thinking that we want all the credit or that we want to have control. That's me for sure. We want to have control over it. We want all the credit. We want people to know my name is attached to it. But I think if we let that go a little bit and try to do more collective work, we're going to produce more things. And we're going to see that it's easier for us to feel less depleted at the end, So yeah, does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Beautiful.
You're welcome. I guess for right now, just look for small motivational pieces, like small things to motivate you, and just accept it and say, yes, this is a win. I would do a little bit more today. Yeah. Yes, please. Is my time up? I'm sorry.
No, I have a question from the chat.
Oh, excellent.
so-
Yes.
So Curtis there, his question is, do you have plans for a future project?
I do. So this is huge. I'm gonna film my first feature. I'm from the Virgin Islands. That's where I'm originally from. That's where I went to high school. And I want to go back to the Virgin Islands and I want to film my first feature film there. I'm a drama person, not like in my background, I mean, as far as the movies I like to watch. I like drama, I like human behavior stories, I like that kind of stuff. So this will be a coming of age, 2 high school students kind of discovering where their friendship is at and moving on with their lives, graduating high school, moving on with their lives. That's the story that I want to tell. And I want to do it in the Virgin Islands because the Virgin Islands is not on the map. I don't know how many of you guys know any movies set in the Virgin Islands. I can't think of one my own self. They're a small place. You know, it's not a place where film is developing really, you know, they might have individuals doing some stuff, but I think I have a real chance of getting money for it and finding talent, putting people to the forefront if I go through with this project. So, person on screen, Evan, Curtis. Oh, Curtis, I'm sorry, I can't even read from this far. But Curtis, yes, I plan to do a feature film. I'm working on the script right now, and hopefully I can get that done this year. And then I will utilize Coverfly and see how many people trash it so I can go back and write it a couple more times. But there will be a time where I'll just be like, it is what it is. And I will just start pre-production and see where I go with it. Yeah. Excellent. So if you want my email, I can, you could just come to me and ask me, and I can give it to you. I don't have anything to put up there on it. But I'm interested in hearing from you all. Don't be afraid to reach out. I will read your scripts. It's fine. I will do it. I promise you. Because there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so I can promise this group. And so yeah, that's my presentation. Oh, thank you so much. I do want you all to tell me your strengths. So you don't have to give me 3. If you have 3, you can give me 3, but please, if you can just share a strength that you have that you know helps you make films well.
I think I'm a good storyteller.
Excellent. So do you understand that Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, you know, that arc, you got that down?
I don't know if I got it down, but like, I feel like I can make compelling stories and just, even if they're just like ideas in my head,
Yeah.
not written on paper, I feel like I'm good at that.
Excellent. I'm gonna come to you for that Act 1 stuff, because I swear, I don't know what it is with me, but I can get stalked so hard on that. Excellent. Tell me, what is your strength?
I think I'm good at, well, working with the director with music and like, you know, syncing up pretty well in terms of what they want and kind of what I can bring to the table.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when I'm asking like, what do you want? And they kind of give like different like adjectives of what they want. And I'm like, I know what you want.
You know what I want, yeah. Excellent, we need that, definitely. So great communicator, at least, or you can synthesize a conversation pretty well, right? You could extract what you know is necessary for the work you need to do from whatever words someone tells you. That's excellent, that's really good. Exactly. Awesome. Please tell me your strength.
I think I'm kind of like detail oriented, so I can bring things to life like a bit more planned and bring in like small little details that add. So yeah.
Excellent, no, that's excellent. Detail oriented, definitely, you need to be, especially on production day, you know, to catch all the little details of the things that could fall out of place, at least from your lens of the DP, you know? Yeah, for sure, it's definitely necessary. Tell me, what is your strength?
I have a really strong work ethic. If I'm trying to make something happen, I'm gonna make it happen.
Excellent, excellent, yeah. Yeah, so you will stay the course and you will get it done. That's also necessary. Excellent, tell me your strength, sir.
I think I just like watching movies, and I think that's kind of like the prerequisite for
It is.
being like a, you know, filmmaker, is about sort of analyzing and seeing how different directors sort of bring their approach, and part of each sort of part of the sort of machine, sort of each cog in sort of the machine, being able to understand how they sort of play a role in sort of, you know, the entirety of the film. So I think it's just about watching film and loving film and being able to analyze film and interpret film. And I don't know, I just think enjoying the thing, you know, the sexual.
Yeah, simple joy, yeah. Your strength is just having a real love for this art craft, yeah. No, that's excellent. And I should do more of that, honestly. I like watching movies for sure and TV shows, and I always take that shortcut versus reading the scripts. So if everybody's always telling you, read the script, you'll learn from the script, read the script. Scripts are sometimes just, I don't know, for me specifically, they're just like hard. They're hard to read. I don't know, I just can't follow along. But then with the final product of the TV and the movie, I always feel like, okay, I see what's going here, but both are necessary, you know, and loving it and just kind of indulging yourself in it is a part of the process for sure. That is definitely a strength to have. Yeah. And if you watch a lot, if you have really good memory, you're probably the person that somebody could be like, that you can always equate a scene to another scene in a movie you've seen, which is good too, because that you can make associations. It's like, oh, it's like this, like do it like this in this movie, you know? And then people can kind of make the match and say, okay, I see what you're trying to say, you know? Because like, who are we kidding? All of our ideas are coming from a place that we've seen them before, you know, nothing truly original in filmmaking. It's more just how you kind of tweak it to make it your own, but we've seen it someplace before. You've seen it someplace before. That's how it's coming into your brain. Yeah. Excellent. Is Curtis still with us? Yes. Do you want to share with us your, I don't know, I'm screaming. Do you want to share with us your strength?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I guess my strength, I think would be, oh, that's a tough question. I guess my strength would probably be problem solving.
Yes.
I've made a few short student films in the past, and nothing has ever gone according to plan, despite my best efforts. So I feel like problem solving has been a big, problem solving and staying cool under pressure has been a big thing for me.
Yeah. That's definitely two that I highlighted. It's necessary. Definitely, you got to learn how to change the course and do something different that you didn't really expect to do in the beginning. And so one thing, like for me, obviously I had 10 characters in my 10-minute film, which is a lot, but I said I'm going to do it. And I had 2 children to cast. And there was 2 children in the beginning that were interested, but one had to drop out of it. And I had to just adapt. I had to say, okay, what are we going to do to replace this kid that was supposed to be in this scene? You know, I did get one child actor, which I'm very proud about too, because child actors are hard to work with because they're children. But this little girl was just amazing. She was literally like a gem, like a, you know, I don't know, I lucked out. But I had to adapt because like I didn't get the second child, and it was like, okay, that's a lot to ask for like 2 3-year-olds to be running around and doing the thing they're supposed to be doing, you know. So I had to adapt. Yeah, so adapting is definitely necessary. I had to adapt to many things. I even had my editor Randall read for a line as a voiceover in the film at the end, because I didn't get the actor. That actor was missing in the script as well. There was a guy who was with me, but then he said he couldn't do it anymore. He went to a paying job, which is funny, which is not, you know, you have to do what you got to do, right? So I was like, oh, we don't have this role. And then in production, I said, hey, Randall, do you want to like just read a voiceover for this? We'll pretend we're on the phone instead of in person. So we did that, you know, and it messed with the audio a little bit because now you got a phone call, like a person coming in at the end with a different audio. So, you know, if you watch it, you'll be like, oh, this part's loud, this part's soft. But, you know, it's my first film, so I'm fine with that. Excellent. That's it. I think I've run out of time. It's 12:30. Look at me on the dot. Hell yeah. These things make me happy. So thank you so much for being with me. If you want to read this letter of this lady, I don't think she was nasty. I think she was just doing her job, you know, but I also think it's funny because I think she's now a contact of mine. So when I write my children's book, which is a thing I want to do too, I will be reaching out to her and saying, listen, agent lady, you want to represent me? Here's my book. Yeah, and I'm here for, I don't know how long I could be here for, but I'm here right now.
Yeah.
But thank you.
Thank you.